Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to another Business Talk. I am your host, Chawanne Burns, and we have some things I want to talk about. And we're going to talk about Meta. Meta is going through some layoffs. We talked about that earlier this year. Meta laid off about 10,000 employees. So we're going to look at some TikTok videos of some employees of people being fired. I found another employee. She said she claimed she was an employee, but I don't think she was. And she's ranting and raving, I guess because people are calling her out. But it's interesting to see because you have all these employees and former employees doing day of their life of as a project manager for Meta and all this stuff. And then today on the news I found that Meta had a bunch of bad evaluations that they just handed out. And normally, if these evaluations don't approve or improve, they're saying that they go on like this probationary period and they're going to lay them off. So we're going to talk about that today as well. So let's see how I want to share my screen with you. I should have Facebook online and I should have YouTube online. Type in the chat to make sure you could hear me and see me. Hopefully you could hear me and see me. I had to turn my volume up to make sure. And let me know where you tuning in from. Hopefully you guys had a great week. And if you're a business owner, a profitable week. And if you are an employee, hopefully your boss didn't get on your nerves. Hopefully your boss didn't get on your nerves. I got to put some lipstick on because my lips are chapped. Anyway, it's dry outside. Look, I was confused of the weather. It started to be it was like 60 degrees earlier this week. I'm in Michigan. 60 degrees earlier this week. Then all of a sudden it's 20 degrees. Right now it's 20 degrees. So it's really kind of confusing, the weather. So anyway, let's talk about Facebook Meta. And you see the title. Facebook parent Meta gives thousands of workers subpar reviews. This just came out today. In this article, it's saying that apparently Meta gave thousands of their employees subpar ratings in a recent round of performance reviews, which could mean that more job cuts can be on the way. The company has taken several steps, including cutting a bonus metric after CEO Mark Zuckerberg declared that 2023 will be the year of efficiency. And look, we're going to look at these TikTok videos and you're going to wonder why. Like Meta is they kind of got the same culture of similar to Google. They offer a lot of stuff to their employees. I know they're located in California, and then they have a few offices. I guess they have a few offices located in New York City. So those two major states, It's not cheap to run a business. Number one, California is not business friendly because they tax you out the wazoo. And New York is just expensive alone. So for your company to be there, it costs. Even for you to have locations, it costs. So we'll see why some of these employees are kind of entitled and they don't understand, hey, companies, and especially if you are publicly traded companies, you do have to answer to shareholders. And when shareholders are losing money in the stock price, they're going to want to see, hey, what are you doing to make your company more efficient? Or I'll probably just sell off my stock if you're going down that path. If you're not going to listen to the shareholders, you could possibly lose shareholders or investments in your company, which will further drive your stock price down. So Meta's leadership expects the ratings to lead more employees to leave in the coming weeks. It's not enough depart. The company will consider another round of layoffs. About 11,000 workers, or about 13% of employees at the company, that were recently laid off. Okay, so Meta performance review process is keeping with the company's has communicated to employees and seen. I'm sorry, I can't read today. As it seems as a return to form for Mark Zuckerberg, who before the pandemic had developed a reputation of delivering direct feedback to coworkers or workers. I want to make sure you guys can see that. So yeah, they're saying he has been pretty direct with the coworkers and trying to relate. And I'm calling them coworkers, but his employees, trying to effectively communicate what his expectations are, and obviously the message is not getting across. Meta managers gave approximately 10% of employees a rating meets most, which is the second lowest of the 5 possible rating. The lowest rating is meet some. It's rare for employees to receive that rating. Workers who receive 2 meet most, and it's in quotation, ratings in a row are placed on performance improvement plans, and those who receive ratings lower than that are automatically placed on an improvement plan. In conjunction with the performance reviews, Meta informed employees that one component of employee bonuses will be paid out at 85% of its target. This figure is one of the 3 used to determine each employee annual bonus and is down at least 15 percentage points from the prior year and below 100% for the first time since the first half of 2018. So in this article, they also talked about that it's been trying to compete or stay relevant because of TikTok. And actually, if you really think about it, if you really think about Facebook and Instagram, I think they kind of lost their way. I think they're trying to compete so much with TikTok and so much with YouTube. I think they lost their main, what is your main focus? Instagram is more pictures, and now they're highly focused on reels for what? I don't think they pay out as that much as far as real bonuses to get more people on the platform. But it is a large platform. It is a large user-based platform. It's highly because of the carousels that Instagram was really known for. Instagram is basically, that's what the thing came from, or the name came from, is for pictures. But anywho, I think they're trying to get back their focus and trying to stay financially sound. And that's why they're pretty much tightening up the realms on how they're operating their business. So, also in this article, it did mention that in a town hall meeting, I guess one of the shareholders meeting, Mark Zuckerberg, when he was talking to the audience, he basically said some of the employees that they have now shouldn't be there anyway. So they're basically weeding out all the people that shouldn't be there. That's basically what he said. So Mark is putting people on the chopping block. And right now we're going to see why he's putting people on a chopping block, because this TikTok is off the chain. I'm telling you guys, these people are crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Like I said, I think it's a culture difference. And one thing I do want to mention about being an employee and you work from home. I could see how you could get caught up of really not meeting your performance metrics. It's probably harder for you to stay focused, especially if you have a family. Now, if you don't, and you're one of those people that could really stay hyper focused on a task and complete a task, I know you probably got a great review if your boss like you. Some people probably got a bad review anyway. So, I mean, they're just trying to weed people out. But another thing I want to mention, so you can stay hyper focused and, get the task done. So productivity might be lower when you work from home. Another thing I want to mention is when you have young employees, because I've been there. When I was a supervisor at Detroit Medical Center, Detroit Receiving Hospital, and I was like the youngest one. So just imagine you're a supervisor. So I used to take hour lunch. I never left early or anything. I had to be at the job, but some of the stuff that I was privy to, would I have done it? Like when I became an engineer, not so much I ate at my desk, it took too long. I had so much work to do. I just ate at the desk. Some of the stuff I was taking home. So it all depends on what type of capacity or what type of job you have. But like when you're younger, you do stuff like with young people. You go out to the bars after you don't have any kids. You go out with your friends. So that's one thing I did want to mention. So when you see some of this stuff, they do, that's what these younger adults are doing, because they don't have a family and all that stuff. They're young. They're living a life. So let's see if I could pull this up. Okay, here you go, you guys. Now this guy, he's basically explaining why Mark Zuckerberg laid off these 11,000 employees, and he's basically going to explain why they might be laying off more people.
So Mark Zuckerberg just fired 11,000 employees, and I found direct evidence why. Take a look.
Day in the life as a 23-year-old product manager at Meta. I always journal in the morning. I then do a quick workout routine. I get dressed. I try to look cute every day. Got some food at the office. I make a coffee.
How do you produce more value than your salary if 95% of your day is drinking coffee and going to the company gym? Our economy is definitely going to zero.
Please stop.
Now, see, I can't criticize this girl for like, oh, I'm gonna get up and look pretty and I'm gonna have coffee. This is probably at the company's cafeteria. Why are you? I mean, it's there. Why not have it? you got a workout space. That's what they're gonna take advantage of. So maybe the vlogging, maybe not so much, but like I could see. If I had those perks, I could see myself, oh, I'm going to go get me a coffee. Now, this lady, we're going to hear from her a few times. This is the lady I was telling you about. She is mad about people commenting on her video.
Commenting on my videos. I understand some of you had different terms in your agreements, but I don't want anyone to accidentally open themselves up to a can of worms because they made one simple comment saying, that wasn't in my agreement said XYZ. If you sign that agreement, there is in section 12 a very strict confidentiality clause, and please go back, delete your comments. I can go and delete them for you if you wish, but I just don't want anything negative to happen to anyone. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Meta's a great company or this and that. I don't think you realize that they will probably give any reason to claw back your severance if you make one mistake.
So she's, I don't know what her whole gripe is, but she's mad because people made comments on her video. And as we go on, because you'll hear from her again, you'll see why. This lady, she's just vlogging.
I needed to get a new license from the DMV first, but when I got there, I realized I literally left every single document I needed at home. So I walked across the street to work. While on my way out, I seen some cops on horses. Like, what type of crime are y'all about to fight on a horse? But anyway, I headed into work, got my favorite drink, and admired the view, would never get full. After that, I worked a few hours, then walked to the other office for lunch, and it was buzzing today, chef's kids. Then I resumed work for the rest of the day and hit the mall with Mishka. We stopped at my new favorite macaroon place, and y'all, I'm slightly allergic to almonds, but it's still worth that little itch I get on my tongue. Then we stopped at Kiehl's for some skincare, then tried out our macaroons. Mishka did not like hers. Then we headed to dinner at Calabrese. I got carnitas tacos and a strawberry peach marg, which were very delicious. Then the night took a turn. We got tickets to see the Nutcracker Road, and to be honest, we had no clue what we were getting ourselves into, and it ended up being a very risque version of the Nutcracker, and it was quite the show. The performers were really talented and entertaining, so if you like your ballet a little on the provocative side, I would check it out. Then afterwards, we went home.
As he's preparing to set.
Yeah, so she basically didn't do nothing all day. It looks like she went into the office late and left early. Oh, girl went into the office late and left early. But you know, when they do these vlogs, they try to act like, oh, I'm working. I'm working and this is my life and I'm doing it's so fabulous. And you're really not working. So, and you wonder why Mark Z is firing everybody. Now, this is interesting. This is a Meta employee, and he's saying it's cheaper to buy a suite on a boat. I guess this is a cruise ship than to live in California, which I think that's totally ridiculous, but we'll see. And maybe not, because he said they said it's $50,000 a year to travel around the world, and food is included. So
down on a cruise ship navigating around the globe. Austin Wells says he bought a 12-year lease on a cruise ship studio for $300,000, which seems like a relatively good deal compared to the California housing market.
Just like owning a condo, you can sell it, you can rent it. The Storylines company helps navigate all of that as well.
The company's executive claims passengers are also expected to get access to all-inclusive services.
Very nice apartment, all food and drink thrown in, cruising thrown in, And that comes to what? $50,000 up front per year? Really? Or per month?
Per year, per couple, they're the starting prices, Stuart.
According to the plan, the ship will navigate around the world, making 3 to 5 day long stops in major sea destinations. Any hidden catches? Austin Wells is unlikely to find out anytime soon, as the ship is still under construction and won't be completed until 2025. A message.
So I just calculated that. They said it's $2,000 a month, basically, for 12 years. So you have a 12-year lease and it's $2,000 a month. Plus, food and drinks is included for a couple. So that's another $4,000. So that's $6,000 a month. Is it food and drinks included? How much drinks I don't know. I know California is expensive. Is it? So you're basically paying for food and shelter $6,000 a month. I don't know. Put that in the comment section. Would you even do that? So, and then it's pretty interesting. Are you going to be able to do that? Because Meta, we're going to find out Meta sent out a work notice to all their remote employees.
Which means you and I get an episode of A Spend a Day with Me.
And another thing, the ship is not even built yet. So that's another thing you got to worry about.
As a project manager at the New York office. My day started at 8 a.m. and my hotel was only 2 blocks away from the office, so my commute was like 5 minutes. So I'm in New York to host a bunch of H2 planning sessions with my team, which is why I haven't been posting as much. Work has been so busy. But check out this view from my meeting room. And this is my personal opinion, but I think the food and the snacks are superior in the New York office than in the Menlo Park office. And I think I might have just found my all-time favorite coconut water. If you see it, get it. I also grabbed a drink from the juice bar, and fun fact, this turns into a gelato shop at noon. I had a crazy amount of meetings, and I missed my lunchtime at the office, so I checked out something outside, and of course I had to get the slice of the artichoke pizza. This was my to-go drunk food when I was interning in New York, and it was way too hot to eat outside, so I went back to my hotel room and had my pizza in bed. To be honest, I remember this tasting a lot better when I was drunk. And I went back into the office to finish up some work before heading out to happy hour with my team. And then we started bar hopping, and before I knew it was midnight, and I was getting kind of hungry, so I ordered some Thai food, but it was so mediocre, even Trophy didn't think it was that good.
I got this question.
So, yeah, she seemed like she worked all day because she's missing lunch. But like I said, you see all the stuff that they have or perks that they have as an employee, cafeteria. I'm assuming that the food is free. And most places don't have that. But that's like the tech space. So this girl, she's going to talk about the remote location. Minus, I couldn't get past her boobs. She got some big old boobs, but I don't know why you would get on camera like that, but that's her God-given right. So.
Because it's just another opportunity for me to shit on Facebook or Meta. When I started at Meta, I was remote, like everybody else was remote. After I started, like a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months after I started, there was this huge announcement that if you were going to work anywhere other than your home city, that it needed to get approved ahead of time, and you were only allowed to work outside of your home city for 2 weeks out of the year. I don't know why no one else said anything about this, because this is absolute insanity to me, but they're tracking your VPN to see where you're at. They're tracking your location, and you can get written up and fired if you were not working in your home location for more than 2 weeks out of the year without permission. What?
But why does that seem like egregious? I mean, most people that I know that work remote, they have to work at their home location. I mean, even my sister, she has a remote job or work from home job. And she says that, yeah, she can't travel, because they don't want that to be an excuse of, oh, the internet is not working in the area that I'm in. So they probably don't want that to be an excuse. So I don't see why she would have a problem with that. And then too, it's not your company. If you don't like those policies, you don't need to work for them. I mean, that I think that's a reasonable request for you to be at home because it's a work from home job. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Maybe that's just sound like really ridiculous to me, but whatever.
Working for Meta, you would have an understanding.
Now this is the girl again. The girl from the beginning. She is teed off, okay, with people commenting on her video. She's saying current employees are harassing former employees. And she's responding to, it says, people she is misleading. I worked there. The program she was in was a contract employee. What she shared with public was for full-time employees.
About how social media works and how you can't just make comments on someone's post that are patently false. Not only that, but you actually had access to information that would have been able to tell you that I was an employee. Bitch, what does that say? What does that say? That's my name. Meta does not give W-2s to contract employees. Okay? Get the fuck out of my comment.
And you know, and this doesn't prove anything because you could be a contract employee and get a 1099. We don't know if that's a W-2. Not to say she's lying or anything, but why even make a video about this? This is just ridiculous. So she's mad at the current employee, and then she's gonna say, you don't know social media rules. Like, no, there is no social media rules. You put it on social media, people could comment on whatever you say. If you don't want people's comments, don't put it on social media. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. So she's gonna come back again.
You know, it kind of felt like divine intervention last night. I saw your comments, and then I got an email from the Postal Service that I would have my Meta W-2 in the mail. And I thought to myself, what better way for people to see how Meta has incredibly ignorant fucking people working for them.
Now, tell me this. This is another personal opinion of mine. Have you ever received an email from the U.S. Postal Service saying, oh, Chawanne Burns, your W-2 is in the mail from Meta? What post office does that? I mean, this is the United States government. You are one of 300 million people that's trying to get their W-2s. Why would they email you? Now, Meta, I could see if she would have said, oh, Meta emailed me saying my W-2 was on the way. By law, it has to be in an employee's hand by January 31st. That's just a rule. But why would the United States Postal Service email you saying, oh, your W-2 is on the way? Come on now. That's why I just like, okay, you're fibbing right now.
Not only that, but as a former employee choosing to speak out on social media about my experience and my personal decisions, I deserve, as anyone else does, to not have current Meta employees harassing me, slandering me, and that was slander, babe. That was slander. So, don't forget that. Yeah, this is not a good look. And Miss Kristen, recruiter at Meta for executive leadership, who has also her TikToks linked to her Facebook account and put her full name in my comments, telling people that she worked for Meta. Girl, you need to do yourself a favor and contact legal with Meta and self-report and let them know that you fucked up. You fucked up. I really don't want people to see this as for anything else other than harassment. This is so unnecessary by current Meta employees to hop into my comments and be acting like this. I wouldn't doubt if you guys were using company phones. This is ridiculous. There are wonderful people that work at Meta, and you are giving them a bad name.
I was part of the Meta layoffs, and here's how my...
And did you guys feel like, what is she talking about? It seemed like, oh, you're harassing me. Is she trying to get a lawsuit? I'm not for sure. She's, the delusions of grandeur is real in that lady. I mean, of all the employees that they have at Meta, even contract employees, why would you just say, oh, they're harassing me? I mean, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. This next one, she's discovered that she was laid off. And she doesn't seem too sad about it, but she made a TikTok about it, and it's a long one.
I'm going to start vlogging my fun employment. I woke up before my alarm and I saw my coworkers let go. I checked if I had lost access, and yes, I did. I was officially let go. I started getting floods of text messages, so I started sending some texts to friends. And then I went to social media because I was getting a lot of questions. I updated my resume so I could post it into all my socials and send it out to everybody. I also updated my LinkedIn. My friend who works there actually gave me 6 months of free premium, which is super helpful. I then made a TikTok that I did not think was going to get that much traction, but it did. Then one of my best friends, Brad, sent me some flowers, which was so nice. After a couple hours of putting out fires and sharing the news with everyone, I finally had a chance to get ready, wash my face, brush my hair, and get back to the grind. I started organizing my desk and found my badge, which at Meta, it's tradition that on your last day, you do a badge post. So unfortunately, I could not do one. Cleaned up my desk so I could get it organized and get in the right headspace. I got back online and I started answering a bunch of DMs on LinkedIn and on my Instagram. Basically all my socials, I had a bunch of DMs and people wanting to connect me through their network to job opportunities. So I wanted to make sure that I responded back to everybody, and then I made a to-do list for myself. I wanted to make sure I got the things done that I needed to get done today, because I only had access to my work email until 5 and then my laptop until 11 p.m. I also wanted to make sure that my resume got out there. I'm also going to be focusing on trying to build 7 streams of income while I'm unemployed. So this is my business to do. I also do wedding TikTok, so a lot of this is going to be related to my wedding services. Then I logged back on because I needed to move my personal files over to my G Drive. And I had limited time to do this because I was going to get locked out of my computer. Saw some more trolls commented on my video. And then I went to go get a Diet Coke because Diet Coke makes me happy. Also, there's a homeless guy that sits outside this gas station, so I got him a sandwich, chips, and I got his dog a little jerky stick. I've been trying to do this every time I see him. Picked up some sushi and had sushi for dinner because sushi makes me happy. Then my coworker told me that I was on Inside Edition. My TikTok made it onto Inside Edition. I had no idea until she messaged me, and I was FaceTiming with one of my best friends at the time that she told me. Caught up on Love is Blind, and then had a jam out session of Taylor Swift in the car to ease my pain.
Like when I'm not
Yeah, she doesn't seem like really upset, but it sounds like she got other stuff lined up anyway, so I wouldn't. She doesn't seem like she's gonna be off bad because she's applying for jobs already. Now, this, out of all the people that I found, this is the only guy that makes sense. And maybe it's because he's logical. I'm not for sure. But yeah, he's the only guy.
Employee reacts to layoff news.
Because I just received word that Meta might be announcing layoffs. And normally I would say I'm a pretty competent engineer, but I am a little worried only because, for one, I'm still at junior level, and junior levels are traditionally less profitable than senior engineers. But more importantly, I have 2 months off for my surgery. So I feel like if there's any employee that would save money laying them off, it would be me, which concerns me obviously because I need my surgery, so I need my health insurance, and I would really like a reoccurring income. Like when I'm not working, that's what I was planning my whole life around for the last, many months since I knew I had this last surgery. So yeah, I don't really have any external updates, but I am feeling a little concerned, but hopefully it is for no reason.
Meta employee reacts to...
Yeah, so that was it for these employees. But yeah, he seemed like he was the only one that really made sense. All the rest of them kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. No, you just missed it. Jada Gray. You said Metal didn't have no dental plan. That's what he said. He needed surgery on his mouth. So I think that's what he was trying to get. I think he just had surgery and he got some other dental stuff that he got to get done. So he's going through it. That's why he was saying that he doesn't want to get laid off. So yeah, this guy, hopefully he doesn't get laid off because he does got a lot of stuff to do in that mouth.